about that. This Facebook is just so weird sometimes. So, Anne asked what DSP is. DSP is basically patterned paper. So just to show you, it typically comes in 12 by 12 or 6 by 6, but it has double-sided patterns. This one particularly has a very colorful side, and then the other side is black and white. But basically it is an abbreviation, DSP, Designer Series Paper, for patterned or double-sided pattern paper. So that's what it is. So you may or may not be able to check the toothiness a little bit better on this now with the linen. It's kind of hard to see, but I'm going to cut this. I have this. I wonder, I don't think it would emboss. That would be kind of crazy. Let's see about that. This one here, we have our stamp set. I have some white, my bark embossing folder. So let's see where this takes us. Again, as always, thank you so much for joining me. Mary Ellen and Amy, Kathy. Again, I missed a bunch of people on there. It wasn't telling me any comments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this into my trimmer. And I think just for the first time, I'm going to cut this at 3 3/4 by 5. You can just hear when it cuts how much different the texture is. So 3 3/4 by 5. We'll do the first one. It definitely has a lot of something to it. So let us grab, and I want to move this because it's giving me weird light. Hold on, I'm going to just put 2 other things out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to try with blender brushes. We have that. A lot of stuff retired, so the sponges are gone, but you know, we'll still use those because that's just how I am. Let me see about this first. What I think I'm going to do is, oh Lord, there's still some gold gilded leafing. I'm going to try Coastal Cabana. I'm just taking a look to see what this looks like. So these are the blending brushes. They come 2, I believe. Nope, 3 in a pack. I'm looking at the third one, 3 in a pack. I believe they are no longer on back order, which is good. So I'm going to turn this sideways. This is going to be a horizontal picture. We're going to use this as our background. Let's just see what it looks like. So this is, again, I started with Coastal Cabana. It does blend really nicely. I had absolutely no idea what I was going to do today. So just in case, hopefully you haven't seen anybody doing this today anywhere else, because I was at work today, so I didn't have really any idea. A lot of times I'll plan ahead of time, but we have a lot of Mother's Day prep going on right now. So I really didn't have time to stalk Pinterest for some cool layouts or anything like that. Do get a lot of my ideas from Pinterest. I love Pinterest. All right, so that's Coastal Cabana. I think I'm going to add just a little bit more, just a teeny bit more darkness in. So I'm going to have some Bermuda Bay. I don't really know what I'm going for here. So again, kind of how we roll here. If you're new, I just kind of do things as they come, which is always fun. So it does take the color really nicely, which is cool. And since it already has adhesive, that's another kind of a bonus. What if we do this one, since we're kind of going with the blues, as like a wintry theme? It is very, very hot today here. As a matter of fact, this sounds insane. I think we had snow, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was last week. Today, it is so hot, we actually turned the air conditioner on. And it looks really dark outside, so we're probably going to get a storm. So I'm now going to Night of Navy. Since I'm sticking with blues, I just stick with the same brush. So we'll just bring a little bit of that in. Trying my best to keep it straight. That's probably one of the hardest things, and I probably could do this on a silicone mat. I probably could if my silicone mat didn't have gold leafing, but whatever. We're going to go with it. Oh, this isn't going to stick, is it? Nope. You know what? What I was trying to do was to get it to stick down. That way it kind of wouldn't go anywhere, but I don't think that's going to work. However, it does kind of tack down to the silicone mat a little bit better. I just want to bring in a little bit more of like a dark kind of look. ooh, I have a really good idea for this. Let's see if it works out. All right, so I don't want to do too much more because I don't want to lose that middle piece there. This is why I like doing things kind of just as you go, because you just never know what it's going to look like. And I do have the outline of my paper there, so this did help a little bit. All right, so here's my background. I think what I'm going to do is, oh, even better. I'm going to cut this from the pearlescent paper. So now that I have more of it in. Don't you love it when a plan comes together? You had sun, rain, and snow all in one day. Oh my gosh, Debbie, that is hilarious. You had a cloudy day this morning, but then rain, and now the sun is shining. I know, the weather. Wouldn't it be wonderful to be a weather person? Because you can get things wrong absolutely all the time, and they're like, yeah, we don't know. All right, so I'm going to trim this to 4. Just so I have a piece. So this, again, this is the pearlescent paper. It's a specialty paper. It's beautiful. It has like a oyster-ish finish, if that makes sense. Now, I'm not going to need the whole piece of this, I don't believe. Where did I put that? I think it's under here. Yep. I just want to make sure I have enough for, yeah. So I'm going to trim this to, so this one was 5. So I'm just going to do the same. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go a little bit longer. That way, in case I have to trim it, I can. So this one I did 4, only because I wanted to make sure I had enough room for the trees. 4 by 5 1/4, I think I went with. Yes. However, I'm going to put adhesive sheet on this first. So let me grab that. I think the adhesive sheet is probably one of my favorite products to make everything so much easier. So this comes in a 6 by 12 sheet. So you can see this is a full one here. And it does have 3. Here's the thing that's tricky. You would think these would be the 3 remover sheets or backing. These are actually the strips. So it's a little bit backwards, probably of any other adhesive or double stick adhesive that you probably ever have used in your entire experience of crafting, but that's what it is. I don't have anything else to say about that. So I'm actually going to put this down here so it covers the whole thing. And since these pieces here are kind of a little bit scrappy, I'm going to come from this end. So I'm going to peel this up. I'm going to attempt to hold it back and peel this up. Okay. And I'm just going to set this down here on the end so it matches up pretty well. Now I can't get this one off my finger. Probably shouldn't have done both of these at once, but live and learn. Since this paper is the same on both sides, it doesn't really matter which side I stuck it to. All right, so then you have this little strip here. I'm just going to use my scissors and just cut this. And I know it's not on a whole piece. There's a teeny little bit hanging off, but it's enough that it won't matter. So then we're going to die cut this, and then the adhesive backing will come off, and it'll be like a sticker sheet. So we'll save this piece here in case we use this for something later. All right. And I'm going to run this through my die cut machine. Oh, I got a little booger of adhesive on there. Must have been on my finger. So I'm going to run it through. I'm trying to kind of make sure that both sides of the leaves are on, but more so I have a piece here on the bottom to create kind of that snow mound. So I'm kind of trying to move this up a little, as much as I can to the top. Even though if a little bit might get cut off, that's okay. So I'm just reusing some of my Post-it tape, and then I'm going to run this through my die cut machine. I am going to pass it twice, or you can flip it over so it makes better contact with, and I just noticed this. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter if it's a little bit crooked. Let me fix it just to be on the safe side. I'm going to run it upside down instead of doing it twice because it'll have better contact with the top with the die pressing. So I'll show you what I mean. Normally when you die cut, you put it down like this, but if you have something that's super detailed and you put it up, the rollers will make better contact up here. So I'm going to pop this in, and I'm going to show you what it looks like after one. The other thing that's kind of nice is since we have that adhesive backing, it'll take all the little pieces out. Now this all looks really good cut here, but in the center it looks like it could be a little bit more crisp. So I'm just going to put this on and go through one more time. Normally I flip my cutting plate, so this is like my nice one. I usually put the cut up one on the top, but I forgot. So we can always save this little piece. We could always add something to the inside if we needed to. And same with this if you needed to cut out like a little circle or something. Actually, since this has a couple big pieces, you could probably save just in case maybe you need something. I probably shouldn't be saving mine because I save entirely too much stuff and then get frustrated and throw it away after I should have thrown it away the first time. So you can see how easy that popped out. Okay, and here it is. I have my take your pick tool, which has the pick end on this side. So I'm just kind of popping out those bigger pieces. And then I'm going to stick this through so it pushes out one of those big pieces here. And most of the stuff, look at that. The only thing that didn't fall out was like 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. So that's much less. That is one other beauty of having that double-sided adhesive. It really helps the stuff to come out a little bit easier. So you have your pieces in here. You definitely want to make sure you clean this out. So when you're finished, if you happen to have that brush, you can run it over this. I'm not really a total fan of the brush, so I don't use it. But I will make sure I clean this because it makes your die cutting a little bit better for the future. Move this over. Okay. Hi, PJ. Thank you for joining from Iowa. Awesome. You're at Perkins. Man, aren't you lucky? I heard Perkins is like Denny's. We have Denny's here on the East Coast. I have seen a Perkins or two here, but I've never been to it. I'm usually a Denny's person. There's not one too close to us. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have our little night sky. And we're going to put this, which I think is going to be really pretty. So maybe I will bring it down a little bit lower. And I think one other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to back this, and I might actually back it with Coastal Cabana and then put it on Night of Navy. You also have the little tree leaved portions here. These are leaves, but I have seen some people use these as bushes. So maybe if you're looking for something, granted, you're not going to have, you know, green bushes in a winter scene, but if you wanted some snow-covered bushes or some general bushes for whatever you're making. And then there's also another mound. So for some reason you wanted to put something in the background, which this might be cute to make another little partial mound back there. I think I might use this one. So let me put this back on here. Where does it go? Is it this way? Nope, it's that way. And put this back. And then I'm going to cut out one more little piece of this to make just a little slim mound. All right, so same thing again. It does need to be 5 1/4. So 5 1/4 will be here. I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do about 1.5 inches because that should give us enough. Let me just think. If we have 1.5 inches behind here, where's that going to put us? Just because sometimes I get a little silly with my paper and I end up overestimating. So I think that might be a little bit more than 1.5 inches. What's that? That's about 1 3/4 inches. So I'm going to go that way instead. So I'm going to trim this second piece to be 1 3/4 inches. Same thing. I'm going to cut it to 5 1/2 just in case it goofs up a little bit. So I'm going to do again, same with this. Show you what I mean. So we have our, we're going to kind of make this one so it's almost like a higher slope, and I might have to tape this in place just because of where the magnets are here. Just like that. So we're going to have this slope, but then technically we could do 2 because you can use the bottom half. Okay. Hopefully this is cutting on both sides, or else that's going to be, yes, thankfully. That would have been a doozy because, you know, some of those aren't cutting dies. They kind of just do their own thing. So here's one. And then if you needed another hill, granted this is backwards, you could smooth it out a little bit, but you could always have multiple hills if you needed them. So that'd be kind of nice, like a ski slope. That'd be kind of fun, but we're going to use this one. I will save this other one. And we have to figure out something for the sentiment. So we have this. Let's just kind of put this little scene together so we can build it. I'm going to do a little trimming there. This one might have to come down just a smidge farther. We have that. And what do we want it to say? I have some white cardstock here. Healing thoughts would be a nice one. Sheltering you with love at a time when words fall. Yeah, let's do, I need to send this. So we're going to use that one. We're going to do sympathy. I have a friend whom I should have sent a card to. Actually, I have two friends that I should have sent cards to, and I didn't. So this is what this is going to be for them. I'm going to do two. So I'm going to need to make a second one, which sometimes if you're doing one, you might as well do two. I'm going to try to keep this simple and going with just navy. That way it's not black, because I don't want that. It's going to be a little bit too harsh. And I'm almost wondering if I shouldn't use vanilla. I think I'm going to use vanilla because I think white is going to be just a little bit stark. Let me just grab my vanilla. And I think that'll kind of go a little bit better with that pearlescent paper. So it's just a scrap. So with heartfelt sympathy. All right. You know what? I'm going to flip this over because I said I needed to do two. Hopefully I can cut this out with some sort of a slim die that we still have available. When you're changing over products, sometimes it makes things a little bit like I can't remember what I should or shouldn't use. Let me see what's over here. I feel like I grabbed. Nope. I thought I had a different one. No worries. So Stitch Nested is retired. Stitch Shapes is retired, which makes me terrifically sad. So let's go on the back here and see. The diorama would be pretty, but I think it'll be a little bit too big. We still have the circles. Probably could do painted labels. Oh, heavens. I think I'm going to either go with Stitch So Sweetly. The Tasteful Labels dies would be nice. I'm going to have to move those over here. Stitch So Sweetly or stitched rectangles. I think I might just, because it's easy, go with the stitched rectangles. Let's see, this should fit. This actually might fit nicely into this perfectly. Look at that. So this is the wider rectangle, so we'll go with that one. Since it's here, I'm going to just take, this is lined up pretty well, and I'm going to run this through. We'll die cut this twice. How you doing, Amy? I'm so sorry. We still haven't had our stamp club. It feels like forever. Feels like forever. However, I really am trying not to complain because I know there's some people who are still, the people in the UK are on lockdown, I believe, which has got to be, oh my goodness. So, just the deja vu. But I always see everyone seems to be making the best of it. And I was thinking back to last year, some of the stuff that Christian and I did together when we were on lockdown. We would just go for a ride and sit in the car and eat or something like that. And that was always, even though it wasn't super thrilling, now that I look back on it, it was nice to just do something really simple. Just sitting in the car, sharing time together. Let's see. We're going to go with Coastal Cabana. My favorite. And just ordered some more paper and Night of Navy. I only need one. I'm going to do the base for both of them, Night of Navy. Okie dokes. So let me trim this down to 4 by 5 1/4. And then the navy will just be a regular half sheet of cardstock. I'm going to score this in half at 4 1/4. And then I will cut it at 5 1/2. And then I have 2 pieces, so I could use this for the other one. So 2 pieces. I'm just going to fold this and my bone folder. Okay. All right, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to build this before I put it together, before I put it on the card base, I should say. So I am going to adhere this. I'm going to just kind of peek at where I need this to be. This is going to need to have a teeny bit of a trim. I'm going to put this on with liquid glue because I feel like that's probably what you're going to have to adhere things to it with. Hopefully that made sense. And then this piece will go on top. Yep. So let me take a peek, grab my silicone mat again, and I'm going to liquid glue. Go on the edges. Make sure you get the edges. Again, I've never used this before, so hopefully this will be without too much incidence. And I kind of left about 1/8 of an inch hangover down there, which I think probably, yep, looks about good enough. It's a teeny bit down here. I think I need to move it down just a smidge. Nice part about this linen paper is it does still move, so you don't have to worry about things do adhere, but you kind of have that movable moment still, which is great. That's the best part about liquid glue. And went over just a smidge. I'm going to go just a little. I missed the very end of the paper down here. I'm going to try to make sure I get it. And then that looks good. So I'm going to do the same thing. Now on this one, remember we already have our adhesive. So I'm going to just pull this off. So you pull a piece. If this worries you about having the adhesive on here, you could always add liquid glue. It gives you that little maneuverability. And remember, I did this in 2 different pieces, so just have to pull both sections off. Once you get a hold of one, you should be able to do the whole kit and caboodle. Just like so. Beautiful. Okay. So very carefully, I'm going to try my very best to line this up. And I'm not going to press super hard until I am sure that I have it kind of to the edge. Wow, that worked out really well. That look good? Yeah. And I'm just going to press this down. Okay, so then you have your... That was really way too easy. Can't even believe it. I have a little bit of hang off over here, so I'm going to just trim this. Grab my snips, and I'm going to trim this part as well. Actually, let me see what this looks like. It might kind of look a little too much out of frame. So I'm going to trim this off as well. Okay, so before we get too ahead of ourselves, so I have my sentiment. You guys feel like this is a little too big? Because I almost think it feels like it's just a little too big. I'm going to try something just before we go all the way. Worst case scenario, I can always skip it for the next one. You could do 2 things. You could either cut this and then just have the stitching on the end. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move it. I'm going to do it this way so I can do it kind of straight. So I want to make sure that this kind of lines up. Feels like it lines up in the grooves. And then turn this sideways. I'm going to use a little piece of Post-it tape. And I'm only going to die cut. Move this up a little bit. I'm only going to die cut here down because this is where so this is a partial die cutting technique. I'm going to do it here down because that's the only place where the plates are going to come in contact. So just like that. So I'm going to feed it in this way. This is kind of a way to get more size out of your die cuts, or your dies, I should say. So that one's a little tight. So this might just look just good enough, even though it's a little off center. But if you want it again, I'm going to try it once more. And look, you end up with this nice little double stitched rectangle, skinny rectangle. I don't know what you could put on there, but maybe something. And then I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm kind of just lining it up So it goes into the, oh, that's upside down. I could feel it too. It goes into the grooves on the side. And then same thing again. I'm sitting it down, but I'm also trying to kind of hold it in place so I can tape this. And now you only need to cut the top part. Just want to scoot it down just a little because when it's kind of close to the end, it's easier to let that piece hang off. So same thing again, right up here. I'm going to run this through one more time. We'll see. Sometimes just doing this, if it's just a little bit crooked, I'm just readjusting it over here. If I make the mistakes and you're like, ooh, that didn't turn out well, you don't have to. All right, so let's see what this looks like. Hopefully it trimmed it up nicely. Oh, that looks nice. So it's a tiny little thing. So, and then you have these really cute little pieces. I don't know what you would use these for. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw them away, or otherwise I'm going to try to use them. I'm going to save them, and then I'm never going to use them. And then I'm going to be cleaning one day mad at myself because I should have just thrown them away. So we have that. Looks beautiful. I have some ribbon, but I just don't want to overwhelm the card. So instead, I'm going to add this, but I'm going to go ahead and take my linen layer. I'm going to take the release paper off from the back. Well, we're going to see how this all sticks now because maybe I should have stuck this first. Time will tell. We'll find out in a minute. It is pretty tacky. I feel like you're going to have a little bit of precision when you line this up, so you probably only get one good shot at this. Kind of feel like that looks pretty good. Evenly dispersed. Trying to get the stickies off. Use a clean finger to press. Okay, so that turned out. And I will tell you one other thing. The adhesive sheet is sticking to the linen paper, but I think once it's actually backed on something, it will stick better because it was coming off a little bit as I was peeling that release paper off. So what I would suggest is to put the linen paper down and then add your layers to it. So I think that looks good. And just for the heck of it, because this is a pretty flat card, I'm actually going to pop dimensionals onto the back of this. You could also use foam adhesive strips if you wanted to, or the foam adhesive sheets. But we'll go like this. Just use all my little extra pieces. Which I still mind boggle myself that I used to throw these away. I know I say that every single time, but I find it brain achingly hilarious sometimes, the things that I did. Like, well, can't use that piece because it doesn't fit. I'm just using up the little pieces here, so this kind of worked out well. I have just a little bit left. And I think that looks pretty good. I probably could use one more little doodly-doo here. And do I have any? Yep, I'll just grab a fresh pack. I'm just going to put one more there just so it's kind of evenly balanced. Or two. Okay, that's good. Promise. Done. All right. So all I'm going to do now is just peel these off, and I am going to add my sentiment. If you also happen to have fun foam, you could use that. I've used that before to put a hole, and then you just trim it to be 4 by 5 1/4. You could put a whole piece on there with glue. The only thing is when you're doing that with glue and fun foam, be careful that you don't over glue it because sometimes the fun foam will make the paper look a little bit wobbly from the wetness of the glue underneath. So try not to over glue it if you can help it. It gets spring. Oh, it's raining. Look at that. Rainbow Stampers playing lacrosse in the rain. Hopefully they're still playing. Make sure I have this on the right side. Just like so. That looks pretty good. A nice press. Okay. And then I think I'm going to kind of keep this to the side, and I'm not going to pop that up because I don't want it to be too much. So I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue here, just a teeny bit, and off center it. That looks really pretty. I love, one other thing, the one reason I got this, not really so much for the trees, I love the fonts in this. The kind of almost like a printed font. I love it. It's so pretty. Oh, but I have to hold this down for one more sec because I forgot. That's that pearl, the pearlescent or pearlized, whichever it is, specialty paper. It does take a minute for the adhesive to adhere to it just because it's kind of a slippery base. But isn't that a pretty card? Hi, Donna. Hope you guys all enjoyed this one. I think it's really, really pretty. Nice. It does blend really nicely, which is also a super good thing. So before we finish, I'm not going to do a whole nother card, but I want to at least try one more background. And I'm going to do this a little bit differently. So that was 3 3/4 by 5. So I'm going to do the same for this one. Okay, but what I'm going to do is, so I have my blue. I'm going to do this last. I'm not sure if this has anything on it still. Do you guys remember that time when I pushed the ink in? Yeah, still, mango is still alive on here to this day. So I'm going to do a little bit more. Actually, you know what? I'm going to finish this because unless you guys have somewhere to go, sometimes I don't get a whole lot of time to be able to do what I want to do. So I'm going to do this. So that is mango. I think I want a little bit more. Mango. And I feel like I need a little teeny bit for what I want to do of yellow. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of yellow. And I want something that's kind of bright. So I'm going to do crushed curry. I think bumblebee would be a little bit too dark. So crushed curry. Kind of brighten it up a little bit down here. Okay, a teeny bit. So crushed curry, and now I'm going to add a little bit of Poppy Parade. So again, I had mango, crushed curry, a little bit of Poppy Parade kind of to the center, just a smidge. I don't want to overwhelm it, but kind of so you have like that sunset-y sky in case you didn't figure that's what I was going for here. Get a little bit more in the center. This blends really, really, really nicely. Like really, really nicely. Okay, then I'm going to bring back my Night of Navy. Put that on the side. And I'm going to bring that in dark up here. Hopefully it's not going to, hopefully it's not going to ruin it. Have that kind of sun fading at the end of the sunset. You like that purple-esque look. Okay. Just trying to see where I want to kind of go to the side. All right. That's good. I'm going to do one more thing though, just because I want to cover this up, but I just want to make sure it's not too dark. So I'm kind of rub a little bit of that poppy off just for color. Not really for any other, just to kind of fill in a little bit of color. One other thing to note, so you know how we had, excuse me, all that release paper or like your dimensional backing paper? If you ever want to hold your thing and you're afraid you're going to get dark ink to light, you can take this to hold your paper. Donna and my BFF, either Christina Werner or Jennifer McGuire, whichever you would like to say. She told us that, so I'm totally being facetious. So there is that. Here's what we're going to do for this one, though. I'm trying to decide if navy or black will look better. And I think I'm going to go with think I'm going to do navy, but I want to do a bright color. So I think I'm going to go with a layer of mango. See if I can find a piece in here. It might be about the right size. Oh, here's one. Mango, where is ya? There it is. Mango, and I can't decide though if I think black or navy trees would be better. What do you guys think? This needs to be cut down. Let me go ahead and do that. So this will be 5 1/4 by 4, already perfectly trimmed. Fabulous. So I'm gonna go like that, like that. Do you think we should have navy trees or black? We're kind of going with like the opposite sky. Who has a suggestion? Brown. Brown might not be so bad. I don't know. Let me see. Hold on. Because black, I'm thinking, might be a little too dark. And navy kind of would go with the tone of the card. I don't know how I feel about brown, but you know what? I'm willing to. Let's just try. I have a piece. I have a scrappy piece. Let's do this. Let's do brown and black. We'll see which one looks better. Okay. So, sorry, my paper is revolting against me. It doesn't want to come out. Okay. So I'm just going to give this a trim. Just do a 1/4 sheet. So again, this was 4. I think that's what we did. 4 by 5 1/4. Yeah, that feels about right. 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to do the same for this one. This one looks like a card that I was going to make something with, and then I gave up. To make it simple, I am going to go ahead and add the adhesive sheet to it just because it makes it so much easier to adhere. And then you guys don't have to wait for me to try to put glue on. So here is a full sheet, and I'm going to just pull this back like so. 1. Whoops. Crooked. Hold on, it didn't go down yet. We're good. 1. Sometimes I'll do it this way too. It's a little bit easier. 2. Only thing is you have this little overlap over here. 3. So then you have this little piece here that's an overlap. So kind of this adhesive sheet is not quite the right size. Probably be fabulous if it was 8 1/2 by 11. But take what you can get. So I don't need this piece. So we're going to keep this one, and then I'm going to do the opposite down here. Then we'll run these through, see which one looks better, because we already have our other sentiment. And actually for this one, I'm going to leave the sentiment larger instead of die cutting it down like I did on that first one. That way you guys can see what both of them look like, see if you like one over the other. And last but not least, but the adhesive sheet is a super duper time saver. Okay, so, whoops. So then I have this little piece left that I'll do something else with. Okay, so I'm going to run both of these through. So again, I said I was going to cap this out, but in the same essence of time, there's just a little bit left. So I don't want to make you guys wait that long. Okay, so I'm going to line this up. Again, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to run this one through, and then I'll run the other one. Hi, Colleen. It's okay. It's been, it's not really the end because apparently I don't know when to stop. Kind of like usual. Don't know when to call it quits. And since I ran that one face down, because I was rushing, I just went back and forth. So here's one. And let's pull this off. Okay, oh, look at that. Came out one fell swoop. And now I'm going to do the same with this one. Try to make this go up a little bit higher. That way I have more bottom. Is that right? No, because you know what? It's going to cut it. So it's just going to be, it is what it is. Missed the end on this one. Just that little bit of cutting. I'm going to go once more. So I'm guessing the rainbow stamper, along with all the other lacrosse players, are all going to come home completely soaked in mud and be so happy, which is hilarious. Okay. Because it is definitely raining now. All right. So let me just pop this. We're going to hold this up and see which one we think looks best. Okay. Now you can tell. See how before when I pulled it out, I only had those couple? It's because I didn't clean this. So I have all these little pieces in here stuck. So if I would have cleaned this like I did, like the first one, because it was obviously brand new spanking clean out of the container. But if I would have cleaned it, all these little things would have released easier. So that is why I do suggest that when you use this, don't be like me. Make sure you clean up in between what you're doing. I just need my trash can so I can scrape all this into the garbage. Oh, forgot one. Okay, so let's see if we can make this kind of work, even though I know we have all these little bits and pieces in here. We'll see what it looks like and then make a group educated decision. Okay, so got a little bit of green here in my sky because my colors muddled a little bit because the way I blended them. So that was my mistake. So if you're doing dark to light, the linen does bleed a little bit. So just know that. But we're going to put mango onto navy. Then we have our piece. And actually, you know what? I'm going to stick this down. That way it's actually nice and flat. Oops, lost that one. So let's see if I can kind of line this up. Kind of crazy because anybody that's out there that's a nurse, this kind of feels like bandaging. Like a casting material. See, it has a little bumps, but it's very forgiving. I had a couple little bumps there, but I was actually able to smooth them out. It's very weird. It's feels like something that would happen in the medical field. Okay, so there is our backing, our sunset. I got a little bit higher on this end, but oh well, that's life. So use your imagination. We can either go with brown, which I do kind of like where you're going with that, but I'm not sure how it's going to look just because of that blue up there. I'm just wondering now if I should have done blue trees. Navy, like navy trees. All right, and this is a little bit hard to see just because all the little backgroundies. Or black. Ooh, the black against the orange. Maybe should have done black for the background. Right, like, and I'm gonna fit this one right in here. I think I like the black. I think I like the black. A lidocaine patch. Yes, exactly. That's so right. Yes, it looks just like that. So, in case you missed your job when you're crafting, you can just get out your linen adhesive and pretend like you're at work. All right, I'm going to go with the black because I like it better. And it does kind of look a little Halloween-y. I can kind of feel you on that. I was trying to go for sunset-y. So we already have a Halloween card set up for... I have to remember that. Somebody's going to have to remind me that I created a Halloween card. Now I'm kind of second guessing. Do you think I shouldn't use this as a sympathy card? Peel that off. It peels off super nicely though. And look, it's taking out all those little bits. There's just a couple little things that didn't come out. Like a couple. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. That was it. That is amazing. So I'm going to pop this across the bottom. Again, I'm trying to match up to that linen edge so it doesn't really show. And I'm going to need to trim. Hold on. Let me fix this because I'm going to need to center it just a little bit different. I want to make sure this comes edge to edge. Edge to edge and down to cover up the bottom of the paper. Just missing a teeny bit, but hopefully you'll forgive me for that. Looks really pretty. Do you think I should put it on black instead of the blue? I think it's going to look nicer on black. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go black base as well because I think it's really going to make it pop. I'm telling you, the black, oh, here's one right here. The black backing, my goodness, it really makes your colors pop so much. I love having that black layer. It is just amazing. I think this is a little bit too, I'm going to trim this down. So 4 1/4, and then I'm going to score this at 5 1/2. Oops, got my shirt stuck in there. All right. So let me move this other little tree out of the way. And in case you forgot, hold on, let me put these couple things away so we don't have everything all jammed up here. So you can kind of see the cards at the end. Okay. I'm definitely going to, you can just barely see the hang off on this, so I'm not even going to trim it. I'm just going to leave it. Definitely going to need something on the inside because obviously this black card, you're not going to be able to read anything. I can't imagine you're going to write something in white pen. What do you think? Black, black, black. All right, so you, Linda, you still going for sympathy. Okay, because that's kind of what I was going for. Okay. Could be thinking of you. Honestly, this part, the people that I sent it to, or people I need to send it to, it's been like a little bit over a week. So I don't know, should I send it as a sympathy or just as a thinking of you card? Either one, I guess, would be nice. The fact that someone sends them a card would probably be nice in general, right? This has a teeny little bit of white something there. Okay. I just want to give this a nice press just to make sure it adheres well. All right, so there's that one. And here is this one. I'm going to add my sentiment. And since I didn't pop this up, I'm going to pop this up. And I think I'm going to center it right there in the middle because I think it'll look nice. So this one again, this is just the back. That's why it's halfway. This one was that strange shape rectangle in the stitched rectangle. So this is regular size. And this one, in case you missed it, we just trimmed that down twice by doing some partial die cutting. And since this is a pretty good size square that's going to be sitting on an open space, I did put 4 just because I don't want it to sag. So, which one is your favorite? I don't know which one is my favorite, but which one is your favorite? Let me go right here. Oh my gosh, I don't know. I can't even choose. I got a little teeny piece of black something stuck under here. There it is. Gosh, I really like both of them. I don't know which one is my favorite. I really don't know. But they're both beautiful. Again, this is the Inspired, hold on because it's new. I think it's called Inspired Thoughts Bundle. Inspired Thoughts Bundle, page 52. You can see up here they had the leaves. Down here they made those little doodlies into flowers. Definitely I've seen them as bushes though as well, so great ideas. But if you do buy the bundle, you can save 10%. Really love the font on this. So you get the sentiments, and then this also has the trees, and then it has that nice, somewhere around here, that nice extra line. Where is it, Rachel? Here it is. The extra line here that if you wanted to add another layer like we did for that back one. But I think this looks really nice just like that. And if I would have added any black to it, I'm kind of glad that I went with the navy for that one because I think it might have overtaken it a little bit. But these were fun. Again, it did take me however long. How long have we been on here? An hour, because I had no idea what we were doing whatsoever. We used the linen paper for the first time, which I am now going to go add some more of that as I finalize my order. I did put post on there earlier in case anybody missed about potentially doing a DSP share, but if I don't hear anything back, I'm probably not going to do one because I didn't have a super duper turnout for the Christmas one. But I hope you guys enjoyed these cards and the time that we shared together today. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate it. If you have any questions about this card or anything else, or a suggestion or a stamp set, since we have this whole brand new catalog, if you have something you would like to see me make, please send me an email, shoot me a message here on Facebook Messenger. If you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, I'm still live on Facebook right now. You're not losing your mind. But if you watch this on YouTube, you can leave me a comment in the comment section of YouTube as well. Definitely going to add a white panel to the inside of both of these cards. And I think I might put this same sentiment on the inside of both of them because it is very pretty. So thank you guys very much for joining me again this evening. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. If you need a Stampin' Up! Catalog and you do not already have a demonstrator, send me an email with your full mailing address, including your zip, and I'll be happy to send you one out. If you do have a demonstrator already, I would appreciate you get it through them because we do have to pay to mail them out and pay for the catalogs and whatnot. But if you're looking for somebody, I could be that somebody. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you again Thursday evening at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on my YouTube channel, which is Rach the Stamper. Thank you guys for watching. Talk to you soon.